Well, hello and welcome to Monks Alive, the Halloween edition. Don't have a whole lot to go, but we do have Max in the house and we're going to bring him on. Anyone else that would like to come on, you're more than welcome. Max, I'm going to bring you up here. I am going to show, I went back into my old library and I pulled a video from about 2 years ago when I did a Halloween hike. It was a solo hike out in the Uwharrie Mountains in North Carolina. So I was going to show that to folks and then just have some fun. But how are you doing?
A couple days older since the last one.
Well, you don't look any older. And we do have Bika here with us. But
I don't know. Every time I look in the mirror, it kind of scares me. It's appropriate for Halloween, I guess.
I pulled up this video, and I thought, man, I'm old. This is from a couple of years ago, but it's changed things. So let me just sort of throw this up here, and
okay.
Bika, I hope you're warm because it is cold. But
well, as Max, can be, I guess.
Is it cold there, Max?
Oh yeah. We've been getting down to near zero at night.
Ooh. Yeah, it's supposed to be down to 24 here tonight, but not zero. That's craziness.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that Halloween wouldn't be quite this cold for the kiddies going around, but today it's not too bad. We got up into the upper 20s today, but
oops, I messed you up. Go ahead.
I said it's still pretty cold for Halloween.
Yeah, that is. I'm just answering a few folks.
Your video.
Just a second here. I got Kevin here with Hiking with Jackie Boy. I don't know if you've seen his stuff, but Kevin's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've subscribed to his channel.
Okay. And then we got Bika online, and yes, the Uwharries are a good place for Halloween. Let me share this video with you, and we'll come back. Y'all, Dan here. Thanks for joining me. Getting ready to go out on a hiking trip, and thought I would stop in, have a little breakfast before I get started. Just feel like chicken today for some reason. I like these little chicken minis. But I feel like somebody's watching me or something. You ever get that feeling? Do you hear that? Oh well, probably nothing. Well, that was a good breakfast. I like Chick-fil-A. Now I'm back on the road, going down to some familiar trails in the Uwharrie Wilderness, and looking forward to just having a day and tonight, and then tomorrow hiking back. A short trip, but glad to have you with me. Glad that we can get on this, and this is a lot of fun. But I just can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. Don't know what that's about. Let's just drive for a little bit and see if that shakes.
Hit him in the eye, it was the sight he dreaded. Ghost chickens in the sky.
Well, here we are at the Tot Hill Trailhead, and back to some old familiar grounds. Really looking forward to getting out here. Looks looks like I've got some company today. There are several cars out here. All right. Well, let's get started.
This farmer had these chickens since he was 24. He'd been working for the colonel for 30 years or more, killing all these chickens and sending them to fry. And now they want revenge, those chickens in the sky. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. Those chickens in the sky.
Their beaks were black and shiny, their eyes were burning red. They had no meat or feathers, these chickens, they were dead. But they picked the farmer up and he died by the claw. They cooked him extra crispy and served him with coleslaw.
Okay. Well, it's Halloween, and that means there has to be stories. So I have a story for you. This was a story that I wrote a few years ago when my brothers and I went to the Gila Wilderness, and we hiked in the area, and we camped at the foot of a mountain where cliff dwellers had lived 1,000 years ago. And so I was thinking about that, and I wrote this story. The people who lived there were peaceful people, and they were led by an old village elder, and his name was Lone Wolf. Each year, the village people would bring their sons to the elder to be tested to see if they had become men, and then they would take their place, the council of men. There was a similar test for young ladies to become women and sit in the council of the women, but that's a different story for a different season. Winter time was coming on. It was the end of October. And 3 families brought their sons to see Lone Wolf to be tested. The youngest name was White Cloud, and the next young man's name was Rising Sun, and the third young man's name was Running Fox. The village elder took the boys aside and he said, "Here is your test. You must go to the white-topped mountain and bring back what you see." And he sent the boys off. The first young man returned around noon, just in time for lunch. And he says, "Look, Father, this is what I brought. A leaf from the tree that stands at the top of White-Topped Mountain." And the old village elder patted the boy on the shoulder and he says, "No, my son. You made it across the big meadow where the bears like to play. You were very brave to go across the meadow, but you did not reach the top of White-Top Mountain. Come again next year." The second young man came at the end of the day, and he says, "Look, Father, I brought you a sprig of spruce from the top of White-Top Mountain." Lone Wolf patted him on the back, and he says, "No, my son. You were at the top of the large hill before the foothills that take you to the White-Topped Mountain, but this is not a spruce from White-Top Mountain. Try again next year." Night came and went. Running Fox had not returned. His parents were getting concerned all day the next day. And at the end of the day, they saw in a distance Running Fox as he walked back across the meadow. Running Fox, his face was radiant. His eyes were gleaming. He was so excited to tell Lone Wolf what he saw. He says, "Father, I'm so sorry. I didn't bring you back anything from White-Top Mountain. But when I got there, the wind was so cold that it took and it froze the sweat from my brow onto my eyebrows and into my hair. And the sun came, and it was so bright that it melted the frost and it warmed me. And the night came, and the stars were brilliant, more brilliant than I had ever seen. And I spent the night staring at the stars. And now today I've walked all the way back, but I forgot to bring you anything from White Top Mountain. The old elder hugged the boy tightly, and he says, no, my son, you did bring back your stories, the gleam in your eye, the excitement in your voice. I know you've been to White Top Mountain. You have proven yourself, and you now sit among the council of men. And he held the boy tightly, and he whispered in his ear, for now your name is Running Fox, but soon you will be called Lone Wolf. And the boy whispered back, surprised, but Father, you are Lone. As a tear rolled down the old elder's cheek, he whispered back, I am for now, my son. I am for now. It is said that if you stay in the mountains, in the Gila wilderness, late at night, you can hear the howling of a lone wolf. And as it goes across the valleys, you hear the echoes of the lone wolves of generations that passed from generation to generation. And that is the legend of the cliff dwellers in Lone Wolf, their elder. Well, gotta close tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path. God bless you. And there you go.
Great story, Dan.
It was fun to be out there and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for Halloween. And so I put that together. But then that wolf started howling just as I was getting ready to shut off the camera. So I just let the camera roll and pointed at the
Good
sky.
timing.
And it was so cool. And Bika knows, in North Carolina, they have red wolves. They're very rare. They're endangered, but they are there. And this wolf, he sort of circled all night long. He circled my camp. I could just see him, as he circled. He bigger than a coyote, but not as big as a timber wolf. But he was a good sized guy hanging out there. So very cool. Yes, Bika, it was very cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
That's my Halloween story. Anybody else have Halloween stories? Let's have it.
Yeah. My only Halloween stories is from when I was a young man. And out being a little ornery.
Well, I'd like to hear some.
Oh, no, we just go out and throw corn and wax windows and stuff like that. But we were in kind of a remote portion of the town, and we saw a car kind of backed up into the weeds, and it was dark, very dark. And we thought, well, let's just do something here. Maybe there's somebody in it. So we started breaking off twigs and stuff like that, making snapping sounds and stuff like that. Pretty soon there was a face in the window of the car.
Oh no.
And we kept doing that, throwing leaves at the car and stuff like that. And my buddy, he stood up and he waxed on the passenger side window, boo. And then he kind of turned away from the car, and another face appeared on his side of the car.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you got it right.
Yep, it was occupied.
Yeah, yeah.
And, and,
but
and folks
but anyway, yeah, we kept doing that for a little bit, and they didn't see us at all because we were out there in the dark. And
Okay.
then there was some scrambling inside the car, and we had piled up a bunch of twigs in front of the just like broken limbs and stuff like that in front of the car and behind the car. And when the headlights came on, uh, the guy kind of panicked because he threw it into gear and he drove all over all of that stuff.
Oh,
And
no.
he was out of there. And then we figured at about that time we need to get out of there before he comes back.
Yeah, that's wise.
Yeah. And it was public property, so we weren't worried about trespassing or anything like that. So,
I'd just be worried
but
about getting shot.
it was a very remote location, and it probably picked the wrong night to have a rendezvous.
Oh my.
Halloween wasn't the right night for it. There's too
No,
many of us little
yeah,
hooligans out there running around.
that is true. That is true. Mm. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Well, here, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Here in Independence, Kansas, Halloween is, like I've said before, it's Neowalla, and so it's Halloween spelled backwards. And this whole past week has been Neowalla celebrations, and they do everything. They have Queen Mila, the beauty queen, and they have this whole contest. I think there were 38 entrants. Queen Neela was chosen, and Queen Neela the 83rd was crowned
Whoa.
last week. They've been doing the queens for 83 years
Wow.
here, and and then
That's pretty good.
and then of course the carnival comes into town and they set up, and all of downtown is all blocked off, and so you can't drive through there, but it's okay. Everybody's celebrating, and then they have parades, and one of the parades is the little ones, and all the little ones dress out in their Halloween costumes, and they walk
Uh,
down the parade route. And I mean, I think there were there had to be 500 kids
oh,
come out. And some of them were so little that their parents, well, some of them were parents were pushing strollers and had the kids all dressed
yeah.
up in them, but they had all sizes and shapes, and that was fun. And then the next night was the big parade, and the big parade, um, you had there were 115 entries into that parade. And of the 115 entries, the um, I mean, some of them are just one thing, like a car might be an entry, but it may be a car club that may have 20 cars as one entry. There were 38 marching bands
Wow.
from schools, for high school marching bands from as far as Wichita and Kansas City, all over Southeast Kansas. They were there. And then afterwards, they have this huge uh, marching band contest over here. So it's really a thing. I mean, it's really a thing and a lot of
It
fun.
sounds like it. Sounds like everybody
You-
wanted to get involved.
They do every year. I mean, every year. So I was so busy this year and had so many conflicting things that I didn't record it. But next year, I plan to take the whole week and just record it, all the different events, so I can share Neowalla with everyone. It's just going to be fun. Mika's telling her story. I'd like to see her come on here and tell it. That would be a lot of fun. She said she was of course, in a tree stand early morning, still pitch black, and in the tree right beside her stand, something screamed, a deafening scream, and then total silence, and she froze and never moved until sunrise. She says she doesn't scare easily, and I bet she doesn't. But that morning, she was. It said it was a long time before she got a morning night. Now, Bika, was it an owl? My friend of mine from Alabama, Brad, who is as a crow flies hiking. Brad, he's funny, and he had hiked in the land between the lakes, which is over in Kentucky, and there's two large lakes, and there's a strip of land between it, and it's a long hike, but it has this legend behind it, sort of like a Bigfoot kind of legend, and he was swearing that it was Bigfoot was out there walking around his campsite. Yeah, the South Texas, Kevin is saying that they have the Day of the Dead celebrations, the Dia de los Muertos, and yeah, I had a Spanish teacher that taught for me when I was in North Carolina, when I was head of schools out there, and she would celebrate Dia de los Muertos, Dia de los Muertos. My Spanish is really great. You can tell. Connie says I can't even speak English, let alone Spanish. But that's a fun celebration. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was waiting for you.
No, yeah, it wasn't Halloween, but I had a visitor at a campsite one night that I didn't know what it was for about an hour. I just kept hearing this scratching and kind of, well, it wasn't huffing. It was more like a very low growl. Very low and right close to the tent. And it just kept going around the tent and a couple times scratching at it and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, I was thinking bear. I got a bear.
Yeah.
And finally, I just slowly unzipped the tent. And here, coming around the corner of the tent, was a baby raccoon. Baby raccoon. And he had me shivering in my boots inside that tent.
Yes.
It's just a little guy. I'll bet he wasn't much bigger than two fists put together.
Really? Oh, that's funny.
And he was making the god darndest noises.
Oh yeah. I had a raccoon scratching in my tent once when I was on the Cherokee Trail, and I wasn't. I was on the Flint Hills Trail, and I was out it was a city, little town park. They told me I could set up tent there, and something scratching on my tent, like what you're describing, and I hit the tent and yelled, and when I did, it growled and it took off running. And I'm sure it was a raccoon. Yeah. Now, my brother, I was the youngest of six boys, and so not my oldest brother, but the next oldest brother, Randy. Randy was funny. He wanted to really be brave, but most of the time he wasn't. And so he's hunting one night, and he had been hunting out. We lived on top of this hill, and there was woods all around us. And he's out back, and he's out in some of the woods back there. And we had this coon dog that would hunt, and his name was Sport. Great dog, loved Sport. And but Randy's hunting with him, and he sees his silhouette down by the trees. So he yells at him, come on, Sport, let's go home. And he just stands there and looks at him. And so Randy, he said he starts to walk down there toward him, and he got 100 feet from Sport, only it wasn't Sport. It was a panther. And that panther, it screamed at him. And when it did, Randy, he took his shotgun that he had, and instead of shooting it, he jams it barrel down into the dirt and runs. And he runs all the way home. And then he's telling us how brave he was until the next day we went down there and we find his shotgun, barreled down, stuffed into the dirt where he had thrown it like a spear. Scared him to death. It was so funny. But you grow up out there like we have, and you never know what you're going to get into.
Yeah, after that little raccoon, I started putting a perimeter alarm around my tent. Yeah, basically it was a homemade one that I used to set up off a shotgun primer.
Yeah.
And I strung the string all the way around my tent, and I was in a sound sleep, and that goes off. And I jumped up, turned the flashlight on, opened up the tent, jumped out of the tent hollering, "Hey bear, hey bear." It wasn't an animal at all. My hiking pole was stuck in the ground, fell over on the string, and set it off. Adventures of camping.
Yep. Sometimes it's just, oh me. Well, that made me think one of the entries in the parade was the Hillbillies of Southeast Kansas. And when they came, they had this big sign on the front of it, the Hillbillies of Southeast Kansas. And I told my wife, I said, I didn't know there were hillbillies in Southeast Kansas. I'm a hillbilly. I grew up in the sticks of Alabama. I didn't know they were hillbillies here. They had made a whiskey still on the front of this float, and it was going over the top of this log cabin that they had made on the back of the float. And there was 3 old boys, in their bib overalls and no shoes, and they're sitting back, and it was cold out there, but they're sitting back over, and one of them has a 12 gauge shotgun, just a single shot breech shotgun. And every once in a while, he would put a blank in that shotgun and he would fire it off. Woo! Get everybody's attention. Boom, that thing would go off. And then we're laughing and saying, where else could you go? And somebody shoot a shotgun right downtown in the parade. And everybody thinks, oh, this is funny.
You do that today, you probably have a SWAT team surrounding them.
And that was just last week. I mean, that was last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nobody cared. Everybody just, all right, this is great stuff. But that's, that's what I love about small town America. It's just, it is not caught up into a lot of stuff. And so they were fun. A lot of fun.
Oh.
Well, I'm going camping. Lord willing, Wednesday. I'm gonna go over to Elk River Trail, and I'm only doing about 5 miles down to a little campsite, spend the night, and then come back. And then Sunday afternoon, I'm going to start driving. And my plan is to drive to Damascus, Virginia. And my brother, I'm going to meet him, and we're going to hike. It's about a 38-mile section that he didn't do the last time we got out together. He came off trail a little early. So Rick and I are going to hike this section of trail so he can finish that part up. And do that in about 3 days. And then we're going over to Red River Gorge, Kentucky, and meeting up with Nicole hikes a lot, and Tim eats a lot.
Yeah,
And
I saw her little video announcing that.
well, she's announcing there's a big meetup once a year in Red River Gorge. That
Okay, it's a
there
different
are
one.
probably, yeah, this is a different one. I probably won't ever go to that one that she's talking about.
Yeah,
There's over 30 YouTubers that
No.
go there, and
No.
it's just a mass of humanity. I can't do it.
I wouldn't be able to do it either.
But
I'm too much
they have
of a
fun, and that's good
loner.
for them. I'm glad they can have fun with that. But this will be just the four of us, Rick and me, and then Nicole and Tim, and we'll spend a few days out there. So, yeah, Kevin with Hiking with Jackie Boys talking about hearing an owl in the canyon. That would have to echo. I bet that would echo through there to have in the canyon to be hooting. But one of the things I'm going to do on this hike this week is I'm going to test this little thing out. This little thing here. Can you see
What
that?
you got there?
I'm seeing if it will. This is an air pump.
Oh,
This is
okay.
an air pump. That's how big it is. And
I got a little air pump for my air mattress. But,
that's what this does.
okay.
And hey, Ken, good to have you here, man. But yeah, this little air mat. This is just a little air pump for an air mattress. I've got a big Agnes Ultra. It's like a 4.5 R4.5 insulation. And I tested this thing out after I got it. The folks at Eaton Wolf, they sent this to me and asked me if I would test it for them. And so I had it in here in the house. I inflated, and then you can turn it around and deflate. So
Yeah, you can do that with mine too. Yeah.
Okay. So how many inflations for your air mattress do you get off of yours? Do you know? Have you
Off of mine?
that? Yeah.
Oh, I'd probably say it would be good for, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights out in the woods, probably. I never use it to take the air out of it. I just roll it up a couple of times and get the air out that way because I didn't want to use the battery to pull the air out.
Yeah, and you're right. I was going to just test it and see how much it would do. It inflated and deflated 9 times.
Woo, that's pretty good.
So if I just inflated, I think I could get at least 18 total pumps out of it. And it would inflate in about 50 seconds, and it would totally deflate. I mean, it would just suck all the air out of it in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. But really, I mean, out of all the little things that I've gotten to test, I think this is the one I'm the most excited about. It's really pretty neat. It's by Eaton Wolf.
Well, it's something you can use and something you're into. It's part of what you do. A lot of things that they give away YouTubers to test have nothing to do with what you do.
What we do. Yeah, I typically won't get those, and I always tell them, I will. It's going to be an honest review. I don't take their scripts, and I don't tell them, I'll tell you everybody it's great stuff unless it really is. But I'm really excited about this. And yes, Ken, it's the battery life. I did it 18 times. I did it when you turn it on. You just turn it on. You just push it for 2 seconds. You get a steady white light. You see that? And then it will turn orange as the battery starts going down, and then it'll start flashing to tell you that you're, sort of at the end of your battery life. And I did it 16 times before it turned orange, did it 3 more times before it started flashing, and then it still had battery in it. I think I could done at least 1 more time, maybe 2 with it. Yeah. I don't know.
I never really
So,
tested mine as far as it would go, but I bought it myself, so I wasn't doing a test on it. So
yeah,
if
yeah.
somebody had sent it to me, I'd have done a test
Okay.
until it died.
Yeah. And yes, it's rechargeable, Ken. It uses a USB-C little charger right there under that flap. It's waterproof, so that comes down. Um, and I don't know how it's waterproof. They say it's waterproof, but I don't think it is because I'm looking at it here and I can see the motor and I can see
Probably
the fan.
water resistant.
Probably water resistant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has all kinds of adapters. So what I've got, these two for my little big Agnes, this one put on this side, and this is where you deflate it. You can see there it says deflate.
Yeah.
You put that adapter on for my air mattress, put that in there, and it'll pull all the air out of it. And then and this one is for the other side, and you put it on the white side, and it's got this sleeve in here that gives it a seal. Put that in there, and you can get an air seal in it. So yeah, and there's more. You turn it on, and it's a light.
Yeah, mine don't have a light.
Yeah,
It's just a pump.
I'm excited about this silly little thing. Nice, has a nice little bag that it comes in, and I probably wouldn't use the bag because that's weight. But yeah. And it recharges from. I mean, I don't know how low it was. It was flashing. It was after I had inflated my mattress 9 times and deflated it 9 times. And then I put it on the charger, and in 2 hours, it was fully charged again. So pretty quick for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I got a
2
few
hours.
things to share.
What's the MAH on the battery?
That's a good
the
question.
milliamp hours.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me see if I can get the operational manual. Let's see if we can find out. Let's see. I did find it. I wasn't sure I would. What's it say? That's a good question. If it says, ooh, that's in Spanish. I won't be able to read that. Oh, 2,600 milliamp hours. 2,600.
That's not bad.
So yeah. And then the other thing I'm going to test out is this. This is a new headlamp. This is a Trust Fire headlamp. This is a monster headlamp. This thing, it's got a cross strap that goes across the top of your head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavy. It weighs about 3 times what my little Sunblessa headlamp weighs. But
I'll bet I got that one beat for a big heavy headlamp.
oh,
let me get it.
yeah, let's see it. Anybody wants to come on? There is the link to today's show.
Okay.
So come on.
It comes in this. Comes in this big box.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
That's a laser. That thing it'll shoot you out
Look
of the
at this
sky.
monster.
Whoa, buddy.
That's the battery pack that goes on the back of your head.
That
thing's a monster.
How many lumen is that?
Think it's like 5,000, 10,000, something like that. I can't remember. It's just horrendously bright.
Is that to send? I bet you could send messages to the space station with that thing.
You probably could. It's a monster. I did a video on this thing.
You got this one.
Actually, I did do a video on that. It is a monster.
No, I remember that. I remember you doing that because I thought at the time, I said, man, I would never carry that. Oh, heavy?
Not one I would take on a hike, though. Not this thing.
This one's heavy.
Well, you can mine coal with this.
Yeah. This is 1,350 lumen. The Sun Blessa is 365, I think, and it's bright. But this thing is, it's bright.
Yeah.
So I'll be testing all that stuff out this week when I go out on the trail and do that. Ken, I didn't know if you heard Ken, but I'm going to go to back to Elk River Wednesday night, spend the night, and then come back Thursday.
Yeah.
Get ready. Let's see. If you're trying to burn a hole in those raccoons' faces, grinning, smiling. Yeah. Well, Bika, you could use it for deer hunting. You could be lighting up the deer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legal in North Carolina. It's illegal in Alabama.
If my dad was still around, I'd give him this because he used to coon hunt. This would have been great.
That would be great for raccoons. Yes, it would. Yes, Ken, we're just going to. We're going to the Red River Gorge next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, I think, is when we're going to be there. I think that's right. It's either Thursday or Friday. I think we're meeting there on Thursday and then starting to hike on Friday. And so I think that's the plan. But I'm excited to get out and get some miles in. Whereas Red River Gorge is in Kentucky. It's over I think it's sort of toward the eastern part of Kentucky, if I remember right. I've never been there before, but I'm looking forward to it. And
I've been there, but only to cross the bridge and walk down to the platform. That was it. That's all I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a what's the name of it in North Carolina? There's a real beautiful gorge over where Grandfather Mountain is at, and all of those places over there on the western side in the mountains of North Carolina. And I've hiked through there a little bit. I can't remember what.
I'll bet Jim Hayes knows where that's at.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, and I will just sort of expose my ignorance. Last week we had a guest on, and she played the flute, and it was beautiful. Do you remember who it was?
No, I do not.
She sent me audio files of it, and I said, "Oh, that's not her." It's wonderful.
Yeah,
That would have been last Monday. She sent me that. I get way too many emails. Quiet Listener. Quiet Listener is her name. But I want to know her real name. So if y'all know Quiet Listener, and what I've asked her is if she would be willing to come on as a guest and do a concert. And I would like to just take an hour and primarily music, because I mean her stuff is amazing. I don't know if I can pull it up.
She was good. That tune that she played last week there, that was very nice.
Yeah, I mean it's really neat stuff. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a section. So we'll just keep visiting. I can't see you right now, but I'm I'm pulling up my email.
It's okay.
Let's see if I can find it. It was the 23rd. On the 23rd. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Quiet listener. Okay. Well, I may not be able to. Oh, here we go. I'm going to pull one of them up if this will work. I'll see if this will work. I don't know enough about StreamYard to know if I can really do this. Let's see. Seeing if I can maybe pull it up over here. Video or audio. Yeah, see if it'll come here. Desktop, flute. It's uploading it. It's uploading it. It's processing it. When it's processed, I'll see if I can pull this up and play it so folks can hear it. Because it was so pretty. Okay. See if this works.
Give her a shot.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. It's coming through fine. She's got some talent.
She does. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I'll keep talking to her and see if we can't make that happen to where, and to get her channel out there so folks can get it. So that's Quiet Listener. Because I kept putting the E in it, Listener. But that's not the way hers is spelled. It's spelled quiet and then Listner. That's it. And very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, yes, Ken. She played that last week. And then she sent me three files with different music. And I plan to use that in my video that I'll put together from this week's little shorter hike. And
okay.
Use her music because she was gracious enough to give me permission to do that. So, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All righty. We just got all kinds of things happening.
Yeah.
So
You
I really
gonna have your? You gonna give out candy tonight?
tomorrow night. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
I don't know if they're doing it tonight or tomorrow night. I think it's tomorrow night.
For here, I know it'll be tomorrow night, and they will. Let's see. We arrived home from North Carolina last night. Did an 18-mile up and
Yeah.
back on the AT over Hump Mountain. Yeah, you guys, I've done that. Hump Mountain and Little Hump, and yep, and stayed at that shelter over the mountain. So good for you, Ken. That's sweet. Now I'm jealous.
Oh, I'm certainly jealous.
I love it.
I
Yeah.
haven't been anywhere.
Ken said it was crowded. That surprises me that it was crowded. Rick
This
and
time of year?
Yeah, that's sort of surprising. I mean, I could see it being still some Sobos, some southbounders heading down. There'll probably be some Sobos for another 3 or 4 weeks through that area, and then toward Thanksgiving, hopefully they'll all be into Georgia and have completed their through hike, which would be nice. Yeah, that'll be nice. I don't know I can do it anymore, Ken or Max.
Oh, I'll bet you could.
I don't know.
I'll bet you could.
We stood out there and watched this parade, the big parade, and we stood in one place. Connie and I, we stood there, and the parade is 2 hours long. I mean, this 115.
That's a big parade.
entries,
Yeah.
It was 2 hours to get everybody through it, and just from where we were standing. The parade still keeps going because it makes this whole loop through town. So we stood at one point and watched it for 2 hours from front to end, and it was a little cool. But after it was done, we start walking back to the car. My feet won't work. They wouldn't. I'm sort of.
That's because you were standing and not walking.
It was not good. It was not good. So, yeah, funny.
I can walk further than I can stand. I can't stand for any length of time without it starting to hurt. But if I walk, I'm okay.
This is what Ken is saying. There was an 84-year-old man with his family on Little Hump.
Wow.
Wow. I'm guessing he was section hiking rather than through hiking. Ken said they met four southbounders on the trail, but
that's still pretty impressive to me.
Oh, very, very. Nimblewell Nomad, his name to his friends is Sonny. But Sonny, he was 83 when he hiked the trail last week. They hiked with 7 family members. So when he was 83, he through hiked it. That was his 3rd hike of the Appalachian Trail.
Woo.
Yeah. He was the oldest guy to have ever hiked the AT. And he had beat another hiker that we know. His name's Graybeard. And he beat out Graybeard. I think Graybeard was 81 when he hiked it. But just heard that Graybeard's thinking of hiking it again in order to get it back. And I think he's 85 now. So Yeah.
Well, 10 miles is tough, is beyond tough for me anymore. So,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Um,
I can do it, but I'm a hurting puppy when I'm done.
my plan is starting January, I'm going to start going to the gym, and that's going to sort of be my video theme for next year, for 2024. I'll still do a few hikes, but it's really trying to get back in shape. How does an old guy get back in shape enough to do a long through hike? And then in 2025, I'm planning, again, Lord willing, I'm planning to do a through hike. And I
Yeah.
think I've
Which
picked out
one?
which one I'm going to do.
Oh, you haven't picked it yet?
I haven't committed to it yet, but it's going to be one of two. There's two places, and it's going to be one of two of those. And it will probably, I think I probably know which one it'll be, but I'm going to wait to announce that later.
Yeah.
Oh, my. All right. Brother, it is 4 minutes
It's
till
that
6.
time.
It's about that time.
That time again.
Anything that you got before we shut out of here?
Ah, I wish, but I'm in big time into creator's block this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I just don't know what or what I can do alone. So
Yeah. Have you ever gone down to Pinedale, Wyoming?
I've been through Pinedale, stopped in Pinedale, but I haven't hiked any of the hikes around there, but it's beautiful country.
Yeah. Yeah. The Mountain Man Museum, have you been in there?
Yeah.
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 It is amazing. It is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ever get the
They've got
chance to
yeah.
show that, that would be an amazing video.
They also got a little a park right by the river running through town. Did you stop
Yeah.
at that park and walk along the river? That's such
I
a
have.
beautiful little park.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't. And I bet it is. I bet it's really pretty. But I want to go back. I want to do a lot of things. I've just watched Brad's whole series.
I want to do a lot of things too.
Well, we just got
Want
to.
and can, two different hands.
Two different things, isn't it? Yeah. We just got to do. We got to see what we can do and go and do it. I have got to get out there and see parts of Wyoming I haven't seen before.
Yeah. If you can get out here, I'll take you on a. It's only a 5-mile hike in, but to do because it's an in and out, so you got 10 miles, but it goes to a beautiful mountain lake.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
And it's about I think it's 1,200 or 1,500 feet of elevation gain on the trail.
Ooh.
So it's uphill one way and downhill the other.
Downhill the other. 1,500 miles or 1,500 feet over what's the length?
5 miles.
5 miles. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good. That's hefty. Huh.
Yeah. Well, you start out at right at 8,000 feet, and you end up at what is it? 10,200.
Oh, wow. So yeah.
It's a pretty good gain, but it's a beautiful hike. Goes through starts out along the creek, and then you got a lot of forest. It's a lot of forest walking. You do some switchbacks, and big meadow to go through, and a big glacial rock pile that you go by, and then you come up the last hill. You're walking up the natural dam to the lake, and it's just a beautiful lake. Pans out in front of you with the mountains behind it.
That sounds marvelous. That sounds marvelous. Man, I'd love to do that.
And
that would be pretty.
And if you would want to, we could hike 5 miles. Hike the 5 miles, stay in the meadow, camp in the meadow, and then come back the next morning.
We could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Well, that may be one of my trips next year. I'm going to do. I'm probably going to only be able to do about 3 good hikes through the year.
Well, don't let me interrupt any of your stuff.
Oh, you would be interrupting? That would be awesome. Yeah. I would love to come and do that. That would be awesome. Well, we do have to stop. Tony came in. He came online. I guess he just got pulled into where they were going. So it was great to see Tony on here. Dale from In the Backyard with Dale. Just a prince of a guy. And we have so many good people in this community. It's just amazing to see them. And Kevin's got to go and get out of here. We do too. I do. I don't know, Max, what your schedule's like, but I've got to shut down and get on.
I don't really have a schedule. It's just the wife's going to be home pretty soon, so I'm going to meet up with her.
There you go. There you go. Good for you. Good for you. Well, thank you so much for joining.
You bet.
I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks for Mondays. I'll be traveling next Monday to go out of town. Well, I said 2 weeks. Yeah, it will be. I'll be gone for the next 2 weeks, I think. And then
you just have a good time. That's all that matters.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. I'm excited about it. As long as I don't drown in a river or something like that, I'll be a lot of. Oh my! So, thank you, Max. Appreciate you being here.
You take care. We'll see you.
Yep, you too. Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path, y'all. God bless you. Good night.
Bye for now.